Hi, everyone. Okay, so in our What Makes a Good Essay, the Basics presentation, I talked quite a bit about the thesis statement and promised to get more in depth about it later, and I'm doing that here. The thesis statement is pretty much the thing that drives your whole essay, so it's worth spending some time talking about. So, first of all, what is it? At its core, a thesis statement is an answer. It needs to provide your unique answer to a question about a controversial topic. Also, it should be the last sentence of your introductory paragraph. The goals of the thesis include clearly stating your claim or your argument or your opinion on the topic. It should provide a rationale or your reasons or reasoning for your claim, and it should act as the backbone of your paper. All of your body paragraphs should be dedicated to proving the thesis statement. Let's talk about how to write one now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you a sample prompt, and we are going to use that prompt to sort of illustrate the process to writing a thesis statement. So here's the prompt. Each year, the US government receives trillions of dollars in revenue from taxes. While that money comes back to us in many different ways, there is some controversy as to how our national budget is spent. For example, the budget for the US military was over $600 billion in 2020, while only about $66 billion was spent on education. Which area of government spending do you feel is underfunded and can use more attention, and why? Imagine that you have been assigned this prompt. Here's how you could go about creating a thesis statement keeping this prompt in mind. So the first thing you should probably do is to settle on your claim. Um, the claim is the part of the thesis that states your argument or your opinion. A good claim is one that can be disagreed with. Remember, we are answering the question, which area of government spending do you feel is underfunded and can use more attention, and why? So you'll have to think about your answer and also consider, does everybody agree with this? Because if so, there's no point in writing about it. But if it's controversial, if it's something that you need to defend, then you're probably in a good spot. Let's look at these example claims. Example claim 1. Governments should prioritize researching, developing, and investing in alternative energy resources. That's a really good start. Example claim 2. The US government should spend more money on the public education system. Both of those claims on the previous slide are solid claims. It's a great start to a thesis statement, and it could provide a totally valid foundation to go forward with. You can use the following questions to check and see whether the claim is good. First of all, does it answer the prompt question? That's the most important thing. Does it provide a clear and specific opinion? That's also very important, right? Because you want to keep it focused. And also, can it be disagreed with? So let's look in depth at one of these thesis statements. For number 1, does the claim answer the prompt question? The thesis statement reads, governments should prioritize researching, developing, and investing in alternative energy resources. It does actually answer the prompt question because the prompt question asks, which area of government spending do you feel is underfunded and can use more attention? Next, does it provide a clear and specific opinion? The claim does have a specific area of specific opinion because it selected a particular area of government spending to focus on throughout the essay, which is alternative energy resources. They could have focused on something else, but they chose this, and that is what makes it specific enough for this essay. Lastly, can it be disagreed with? It can be disagreed with. Some may think that enough money is spent on alternative energy or that the government should emphasize another area such as healthcare or education. So all in all, this is a really great start to your thesis statement. But we're not done. We still need to write the second part of our thesis statement, which is called the rationale. You notice that the thesis statement answered the first question, or the claim answered the first part of the question, which area of government spending do you feel is underfunded and can use more attention? But it didn't answer the second, which is why. And we always want to include our why with our thesis statement. Again, that is called the rationale. The rationale gives you reasons or reasoning for your claim. It's important because it helps give the essay focus and direction. After you know your claim, the next thing you want to do is articulate why you feel that way. What reasons would someone have for believing the US government should spend more money on the research, development, and investment in alternative energy sources? So, I'm sure you could brainstorm plenty of reasons, but here are some options for how to incorporate these reasons into a thesis statement. Option one would be to provide a short list of more specific reasons. For example, current energy sources are bad for the environment, fossil fuels are finite, and it would help create jobs. Or you could provide one reason that is more broad. Alternative energy sources are vital to slowing the rate of global warming, which is causing an irreversible level of damage. Now let's put that all together. Basically, what you're going to do is you're going to take your claim, you're going to take your rationale, and you're going to slap a because in the middle. Because is the magic word here. Claim plus because plus rationale equals thesis statement. So if we look at option one, all put together, we could see that we can see the way it reads as a thesis statement. Here we go. Governments should prioritize researching, developing, and investing in alternative energy resources because current energy sources are bad for the environment, fossil fuels are finite, and it would help create jobs. If we wanted to write a thesis statement using option two, which is the more broad rationale, it reads, governments should prioritize researching, developing, and investing in alternative energy resources because they are vital to slowing the rate of global warming, which is causing an irreversible level of damage. Either way, either thesis is fine. And these are not the only formats for writing thesis statements, but I think they are a really good start. It ensures that you get both the claim and the rationale in the sentence, and depending on your comfort level, you can branch out from here. Some notes. Option one might be easier if you are concerned about organization because each reason that you give can become the focus of a body paragraph. And option two is better if you want a more in-depth analysis of one particular reason. Something to think about is what a thesis statement is not. I get a lot of students writing sentences at the end of their introductions that are not correct thesis statements, and here are some examples of that. A thesis statement is not a rhetorical question. For example, so now we must ask ourselves, how should the US government best spend our tax dollars? It doesn't answer the prompt question because it gives another question, right? We want to provide an answer. It is also not a quotation. You should not include a quotation in the thesis statement. For example, in the article, Current US Discretionary Spending, it states that the media blames the discretionary budget for deficit spending, which has created a huge national debt. This is not acceptable because it's not your own personal opinion that you're defending. This is just something that an author said about the US government and their spending. Lastly, it should not be an announcement. For example, in this essay, I will discuss the government's budget and how it should be spent. Again, that does not answer the question. It does not provide anything that is arguable. Nobody's going to question that sentence. And also, announcing your thoughts are a little bit redundant because since this is your essay, it's already assumed that these are your thoughts. Anyway, that is the end of this presentation. Hopefully you have a clear idea about how to write a thesis statement, and I will provide more resources within this content page. Thanks for watching.